Okay. Halftime, 23-7 as we get set for the start of the third quarter. Jacksonville jumping off to that 17-0 lead, and they really set the tone for this game early on.
Well, they did, and Baltimore just seemed to be, I don't know if it was tight or nervous or intimidated. I don't know what, but they made mistake after mistake after mistake, and you can't do that against a good team. Even if you're at home, it doesn't make any difference.
Let's break it down statistically for you at the end of the first 30 minutes of play, and you can see that the offensive yardage has been overwhelmingly tilted toward Jacksonville.
Well, and especially in the passing yardage, the Ravens have not been able to find a way to stop Jimmy Smith and connecting with Mark Brunell. But it's nothing new for Brunell to be having big games against the Ravens. And here it is right here. This is about as ugly as it gets. They get the one play for a touchdown right after the Chris Howard fumble. The only bright spot offensively for the Ravens.
Corey Harris takes Steve Lindsey's kick inside the 5 and stumbles as he gets now near the 30-yard line. Let's check in with Bonnie Bernstein.
Well, Brian Billick, who's usually very media friendly, maybe wait until he came out after the half to do this interview. Obviously very disappointed. He said the second half is going to define who we are as a team. I said, what do you do about Jimmy Smith as it has on 94 yards in the first half? He said, we just have to clamp down and keep rotating coverages on him. As for Qadry Ismail, he said it hurts that we don't have him, but we have to move on.
All right, Bonnie, Qadry Ismail injured with what we were told was an MCL injury.
An MCL sprain.
Right.
Which, if that's all, if sprain can be serious, but it looked like a devastating injury, and hopefully this will be good news for the Ravens.
First down and 10, Banks at quarterback, play fake. Deep left side, Travis Taylor, double coverage. Travis Taylor has it. Perfectly thrown ball.
And Aaron Beasley arguing that he got pushed off. We talked earlier about Travis Taylor being physical, and it did look like he got away with a shove towards the end of that against Aaron Beasley, number 21. All right, down the left-hand sideline, Tony Banks airs it out. Right about there it is. Hey, that's a rookie. Now, that's the kind of thing you've seen Michael Irvin and receivers like that do for years. Right there, Travis Taylor, described as physical, shows off a little bit and got away with it.
I think so. Gain of 40 on first down. Banks dropped. Priest Holmes. Banks was under pressure. Kevin Hardy got through quickly.
Yeah, and Tony, instead of floating one over to Priest Holmes, kind of threw one low and away. Holmes could have caught it, but it's a pretty tough ball to handle in that respect.
Jamal Lewis and Sam Gash get on the field now. Sam Gash signed as a free agent from Buffalo. Yeah, at the fullback spot, and the rookie Jamal Lewis right behind him.
What a feel-good moment this would be for Baltimore if they could stick this in the end zone.
Lewis tests the middle inside the 25 and down at the 22-yard line. Tony Brackens, number 90, gets help from Lonnie Martz, the linebacker, to make the stop.
Jamal Lewis feels so much better without the brace on his elbow. You can see it's still pretty heavily wrapped on his left elbow. He dislocated it during a scrimmage at the very beginning of training camp, and he missed a lot of valuable work. And every game that goes by, he will be a bigger and bigger fixture here on the Ravens offense. He's still in the ease-in transition stage.
Ravens are 1 of 7 on third down conversions. 3rd and 5 here. Banks into the corners, got Taylor, touchdown!
Well, this rookie has made a statement on this drive. He's working the end zone. He gets past Kawaki Thomas. And Tony Banks dropped that one in perfectly. And oh, what an important series this was for the Ravens. They are back in this ball game going for a deuce.
The try for 2 with Banks under center. Lewis split to the near side. Coates in motion. Banks drills it for Ben Coates. Did he break the plane? He did indeed. They got 2.
And it is a one-possession game.
With a resuscitated Ravens sideline. Ravens open the second half with a 68-yard drive, and they get a touchdown toss from Tony Banks to Travis Taylor, 23 yards. It's an 8-point game. Stover will kick off. Reggie Barlow is the deep man. Returnable, taken by Barlow at the 12. Tackled at the 22. Anthony Mitchell makes the stop.
Let's go back and look at the touchdown play. Here we have rookie on rookie right down here at the bottom. That's Kawaki Thomas working against. Here they are right down here at the bottom. Kawaki Thomas working against. And there's Travis Taylor giving him the double move. And the safety, Renee Stewart, is just way late coming over from the middle. There's Ben Coates on your left. He's going to float right in behind Shannon Sharp. And Taylor again, and with his big body, he's able to screen everybody out.
Stacey Mack opens the second half at running back. Play fake, Brunell, flag is down, so is Brunell. Illegal motion, that's a dead ball foul, so that will negate the sack and result in a 5-yard penalty. There is no option here with a dead ball foul.
Prior to the snap, false start, 82, offense, still first down.
Yeah, that's the only thing Jimmy Smith has done wrong today.
It was Rob Burnett who got through and caught Brunell, but it
never happened. False start, the play never happened.
Nope. It's disappeared into the ether.
The abyss.
Both teams now with 6 penalties. 1st and 15. Well, this crowd, which had grown lethargic, has been reignited. Hand off Mack. Ray Lewis.
What a wonderful lesson here about the game of football. A little line stunt in the middle, but nobody blocks Ray Lewis. He's free to float and fill the hole. And this is a guy who's just trying to make something happen. But this is a team that went to halftime 3 minutes ago. You couldn't have been any flatter than the Ravens were. And look at this turnaround in a matter of minutes.
Got a little Hardy Nickerson move there, didn't he? Second down and 15. Timeout, Jacksonville. Home opener for the Baltimore Ravens here at PSI Net Stadium. And the crowd suddenly very interested in the goings on. 23-15 the score after the timeout. It's second down and 15 Jacksonville. Blitz. Brunell deep right side for Jimmy Smith. Tipped away. Dwayne Starks picked it off. No, they're ruling it incomplete.
They're saying the ball hit the ground. Oh, Dwayne Starks. He goes up for the football, Vern. He gets a fingertip on it. Otherwise, Jimmy Smith is gone. One-on-one coverage right here at the bottom of your screen. No help to the inside. Oh, Starks just barely got that football. Now they're saying the ball hit the ground, and thus it's not an interception. New rule this year that if in the eyes of the official you have control of the football and it touches the ground, it could still count. I think pretty accurate there that Starks did not have total control of the football before it touched the turf.
We may have a challenge.
Well, the challenge certainly isn't coming from Jacksonville.
There's a flag that is down at the 38-yard line.
Okay,
just it's a clock problem.
Yeah, the game clock wound down. It was set incorrectly. Johnny Greer giving the signal to go ahead and set it back to 25 seconds. If Starks had complete control of that football before it touches the ground, he would have been given the interception.
3rd and 15. Three-man rush. They drop 8. Brunell dancing into the flats. Drop. 4th down. Intended for Shelton. He's popped by Bailey. 4th and 15.
Even if he catches it, the coverage was so good, it's just a 4 or 5 yard pickup. Well, what a series there defensively by Dwayne Starks in particular and the entire defensive unit of the Ravens.
Ryan Barker to punt for the second time in the game. Jermaine Lewis drifts over to the right. That's out of bounds. No return. See where they spot the ball. Somewhere near the 40-yard line. Make it the 39. .12:17 to go third quarter. Baltimore's second offensive set of this half.
You know, Vern, the one thing that's interesting here, Baltimore ends up with possession of the football in about the exact same spot where it would have been had Dwayne Starks been given credit for that interception.
Yep.
So a moot point to some degree, but a close call as to whether he had it or not.
68-yard drive to open the third quarter. Travis Taylor the highlight. He is split left, double tight end set. Banks handoff. Jamal Lewis tries to bounce it to the outside, and the flag is down. Shannon Sharp was being forced back into the running lane. Holding against the Ravens.
Shannon Sharp was the tight end to the point of attack that time, and a lot of times when a running back bounces it to the outside, all of a sudden the defenders are moving in a direction that their blockers aren't expecting, and you end up with a hold.
There is no infraction for holding on the play. There was no gain of yardage. Second down.
There's Shannon Sharp, number 82. You see how he's got his hands up on the shoulder pads there, working against Joel Smengi. But the ruling is because there wasn't any gain of yardage, there's no infraction. If they'd have made a yard, it would have been holding.
Explain that one. Banks, it's incomplete. Down at the feet at the 45, intended for Shannon Sharp. And let's check in with Bonnie Bernstein.
Well, Vern, while the Ravens defense was on the field, Tony Banks kind of stayed isolated. Brian Billick did come over him 3 times to pat him on the back, say, if we get the next touchdown, we're going for 2 again. The biggest burst of excitement I've seen out of Banks today was when it looked like Starks had picked up Smith, who's the first one to run over to the spot.
All right, Bonnie, Tony Banks looking at 3rd and 10 right now. Out of the shotgun for Banks. As protection, got a man open. Taylor picked off by Renee Stewart. And here's Stewart with Beasley in front. Renee Stewart with his second interception. This one much more meaningful than the one that ended the first half.
And there's the first time this game that Travis Taylor looked like a rookie. He's their #1 draft choice. This is a good throw by Tony Banks, coming across the middle, breaking from his left. There's Travis Taylor right on his hands, and the old tip drill that every defensive back from the 6th grade on has worked on paid off that time for Renee Stewart. But that was a good job by Banks of delivering the football. Very catchable, right through his hands, right off his face mask.
Backs in the eye on first down and 10 after the interception from the 41. Stacey Mack comes right inside the 40 and down at the 37. Now let's check in with Jim Nantz back in our New York studios. All right, Jim, that'll revive all those stories about Indianapolis's need of a stronger defense. Huh?
I have done a few Raider games where they've made some dramatic comebacks. I don't know. Al Davis.
Motion in the line. Now, some indication that Brendan Stye may have moved. That seems confirmed.
I think Johnny Greer said 68.
Yep. Second and 11.
As you can see, last year, Jacksonville dominated in the second half.
There's Brunell drifting back. Fires it right side for Kyle Brady. Dwayne Starks appeared to have him down, but then Brady worked loose of the tackle.
Well, I think at first Starks went, "Now this is no big deal. Jimmy Smith is only about 6'1", 208. Oops, this is Kyle Brady, 6'6", 275.
Right.
He's not going to go down the way Jimmy Smith goes down. This is one of the perks that you get when you flex out a tight end to the outside. A corner is really challenged to tackle him.
3rd and 4. Brunell comes near side. And he's got his tight end Brady for a first down at the 30-yard line. Ray Lewis is there to make the stop.
Yeah, you notice that time it's Ray Lewis, not Dwayne Starks.
A 3rd down conversion, however, for Jacksonville. And the clock with 9:45 to go, third quarter. 9 tackles for the Baltimore middle linebacker.
And another illustration of the worth of Kyle Brady.
Shelton and Mack in the backfield now, and Brady heading to the left. Stacey Mack on first down inside the 30 to the 29. Fred Taylor out with a medial collateral ligament problem, the vaunted sprained knee.
He got hurt the first carry of the preseason. He had an MCL problem. They're hoping to get Fred Taylor back next week. Fred Taylor gives this offense, of course, if you look at him today, you're saying they don't need him, but he really gives them the real legitimate breakaway threat that can go to the distance on any single play. You can give it to him off right guard, and he could go 80 yards.
2nd and 10. Out of the gun. Comes Boulware from the outside. That pass incomplete, intended for R.J. Soward, and it'll be 3rd and 11.
That was really tight coverage, good coverage by Kim Herring, the strong safety on their #1 draft choice. Both of these teams drafting wide receivers #1 out of big-time programs. R.J. Soward, the #1 choice of the Jaguars, coming out of Southern Cal. Travis Taylor coming out of Florida.
3rd and 10 from the 30-yard line. McCardell sent over to the right side. Smith moves farther outside. Timeout, Jacksonville.
He didn't get it off. I don't think he got it called in time. There's a flag on the field.
No, Johnny Greer now says.
Prior to the flag, timeout number 2.
And the second time this half that the Jaguars have had to burn a timeout. 3rd and 10, Jacksonville.
Everything's done now by packages and personnel, and sometimes they're just not where they ought to be. You see Jimmy Smith pointing. McCardell's trying to get off in a different place. Soward not sure where he's going. Brunell trying to bring everybody back and runs out of time.
3rd and 10. Ravens coming. Brunell drills it. Tipped, incomplete. Flag thrown.
Dwayne Starks pleading his case. It appears to no avail. What a job initially by Jacksonville of picking up that all-out blitz by the Ravens.
Pass interference, 22, defense, 1st down.
It has been a tempestuous day here for the Raven cornerbacks. You're allowed to put your hand on the back of the receiver as long as you don't move him. Well, I got to tell you, from the couple vantage points I just looked at, that looked like a pretty good play by Dwayne Starks.
Sure did. I agree. 1st and 10 after the pass interference call. The 3rd pass interference call against Baltimore today. Here's Brunell. Almost picked off. And another hanky comes flying. Offensive pass interference.
Yep.
Pass interference, number 24, offense. Still 1st down.
Well, they called on Chris Howard, the running back. Empty backfield for Mark Brunell. Oh, Chris Howard is downfield. He's not even looking at the football, just running in to Dwayne Starks. Chris Howard actually was acting like that was some sort of a running play. I wonder if he missed an audible.
1st and 20 from the 28. Burnett, I beg your pardon. Rob Burnett got the sack at the 35.
The sack and the somersault. Well, he had the only sack of the week last week for the Ravens. Here he is working on the inside against Stye, rather. And just hard work, gets around the corner. Brunell makes the decision to leave, but by that time, Burnett has closed the distance.
5-yard loss, 2nd down and 25. Across the middle, McCardell makes the grab at the 28-yard line and is dragged down immediately by Robert Bailey, the 10-year vet. 3rd down.
Well, I think even if they don't convert for yardage, they'd like a few more yards for Hollis. Right now, they'd be looking at about a 45-yard field goal, 44 yards.
Alvis quitted. R.J. Soward and McCardell all to the left side. Now McCardell comes to join Jimmy Smith on the right side. 3-man rush. They drop 8. Brunell across the middle for Jimmy Smith. But that is short of the 1st down. It does give them a cushion for a field goal.
Yeah. And that's just taking what the defense will give you by Mark Brunell. You don't have to take a risk to pick up all 19. Let's just make it a little more comfortable for our kicker. And Jimmy Smith today having, did that put him over 200 yet? It did.
That's his first catch of the 2nd half. 11 receptions for the day. Mike Hollis from 34. Got it. Coughlin's team answers with 3. 26-15. 6:47 to go, third quarter, 26-15 Jacksonville. 25-yard drive in 9 plays following the interception. And Steve Lindsay getting set to kick off. Corey Harris is the deep man. Again, Kadri Ismail with a sprained knee taken to the locker room early in the game and has not returned. Here's Harris. Down at the 23. Coming up Monday night on CBS, we'll begin with Big Brother, then follow that up with the King of Queens. Next on the agenda, Everybody Loves Raymond, Becker, and Family Law. That is our CBS Monday night lineup. And the U.S. Open men's final follows football this afternoon on CBS. 26-15 here with 6:37 to go. 1st and 10, Baltimore. Banks out to the 30-yard line. Hardy Nickerson with the tackle. Fernando Bryant also there. Jermaine Lewis with the catch. Ravens moved in the opening drive of the third quarter, 68 yards for a touchdown. And they appeared to be moving last time they had it. Travis Taylor had a ball skip off his hands. Intercepted. And here's a nifty run. Wow! Priest Holmes to the 47. A gain of 17.
And Vern, that's what Tony Banks needs. He needs some help. He doesn't need any more tip balls, drop passes, missed blocks, blown assignments. A well-executed running play, and Priest Holmes does what he does best. Lower his shoulders, not spectacular, not fancy. I'm not heading for the sidelines. I'm going north and south, right up the football field. But it's time for everybody on this Baltimore offensive team to start making some plays.
On first down, Banks across the middle, incomplete. Intended for Priest Holmes. Kevin Hardy was there defensively.
The crowd thinks he was there a little too much defensively. All sorts of time for Tony Banks here to survey the field. Kevin Hardy working his assignment right in the middle of the football field. And as you can see, he wasn't anywhere close to interfering with Priest Holmes in the football.
2nd and 10. Brunell has thrown for 262. Banks 137 yards thus far and 2 picks, both by Renee Stewart.
But Banks has had some guys drop some passes on him. He's not had a lot of help.
Draw play. Priest Holmes.
Oh, the umpire right there. He didn't exactly go right to it and blow that ball down in a hurry, did he? When does the ball come loose? Let's look at his knees and the ball. He's got the ball and the knees on the ground. Well, that's it right there. You can freeze it because it's all over.
3rd and 6. Taylor in motion to the right side, out of the shotgun. Banks. Again, a 3-man Jacksonville rush. He goes deep for his tight end. And another flag is thrown. Holding is going to be the call.
What Shannon Sharp does so well is separate. He loves to work in space. There's Shannon, 82, releasing off the line of scrimmage. Now, amazingly, that's Joel Smengi, a defensive lineman who's working on him. That's asking a lot of Smengi to try to run with Shannon Sharp down the field. I know sometimes in that zone blitz look, that's the responsibility of a defensive end or defensive tackle, but boy, that's a tough assignment.
9th penalty of the day on Jacksonville. Sharp coming in motion. Banks screen pass right side. Got his Jaguars fullback across the 40 and down to the 38. Ian Badejo. Gary Walker with the tackle.
A lost art, Vern, in the NFL, the screen pass.
Sure is.
You just don't see. I think the last team that we saw run it really effectively, the 49ers. Take a look at it up top. It's really simple. Sell something deep. Get the defensive line to rush upfield. Release a couple offensive linemen in front of your blocker. It's really a fairly safe play. Easy to execute. You just don't see it run that much anymore.
Second down and 3. Priest Holmes tests the middle, moves the chains. That's good for a first down at the 34-yard line. Seth Payne, number 91, makes the tackle.
See, one of the beauties of a screen pass is that you can run it out of any formation except an empty backfield.
Ravens with 105 yards already in the second half. Banks finds Ian Badejo again. That's 4 times now. 5 times he's gone to him. Lonnie Martz with the tackle.
This has been a well-executed drive by the Ravens. They're taking it in chunks. They're not trying to do it all at once. Good blocking up front. Nice pocket there for Tony Banks that he's willing to come off. He's checking down, comes all the way back down to his fullback, Ian Badejo, and makes it his 3rd read. That's a good, smart play by Tony Banks. Don't be too aggressive.
Second down and 3. Left side, Holmes weaves his way inside the 10.
Right now, Brian Billick's play calling has Jacksonville back on their heels. Defensively, they're coming at him with short passes, with screens, with draws, and this is just a nice read to the outside. Containment completely blown by the Jaguars on that side of the football, and Priest Holmes smart enough to see it in a hurry and giddy up around the corner.
Fresh backs now. Sam Gash and Jamal Lewis is the tailback. Lewis gets the handoff, tries the left guard spot, and pushes the pile down to the 5-yard line. The tackle made by Tony Brackens, number 90.
And that's one of the things right there, Vern, I like about Jamal Lewis. Being a rookie running back, sometimes when there's not a big hole, they have a tendency to want to bounce it to the outside. He just lowered his shoulder, knew he was close to the goal line, and took 3 positive yards.
Second and goal. This is the 10th play of a well-executed drive. Ian Badejo is back in the backfield. That's him in motion. He'll be the lead blocker. Play.
Oh, Sharp was wide
Got him open. Ian Badejo. First name Obafemi. Equals touchdown.
Well, he had 2 wide open receivers to Tony Banks. That's right. Banks trying now to find out if they're going for 2. They certainly want to go for 2 to get within a field goal. But Shannon Sharp was open all the way to the right, and Obafemi was open in the middle. That was a superior drive by the Ravens, and great play calling by Brian Billick and Matt Cavanaugh.
Shannon Sharp and Jermaine Lewis go wide to the right side. Taylor wide left. That's Coates in motion. Banks moves it, goes in the corner. A flag is down again.
Well, you got to be careful. Watch out for, this is interference, I would think, either offensive or defensive. A lot of contact down there in the end zone. Yeah, this is going to come back. That looked like a scrum in the end zone down there. A lot of body banging.
Interference, pass interference, number 82, offense. Will penalize 10 yards and replay the down.
Well, Shannon Sharp talks about the fact that it's Ben Coates that always uses his body. This time it was Shannon Sharp. There he is in the slot, 82. Well, yeah, right there you saw where he had a hold of the jersey. I think it was Aaron Beasley. You can see he pulled it clear off over his shoulder pads. And that's what the official saw and brought it back.
So after the penalty, Billick decides to go for one. Here's Stover's extra point attempt. Up and good.
Well, the reason that was important, Vern, is if the Jaguars kick a field goal, now it's a 29-22 game, and that touchdown does tie it up in case you're looking at overtime. You got to come out of that with something.
1:02 to go, third quarter. And we invite you to join us this fall on CBS and meet the men and women of crime scene investigation. If you're a victim of a crime, they're your best hope for justice. William Peterson, Marge Hellenberger star in the side of crime solving you've never seen. It premieres Friday, October 6th on CBS.
Yeah, I never thought that I would see this in the second half of this game, where the pressure now falls squarely on the offense of Jacksonville. What did they have, like 29 yards total so far here in the second half?
Right.
They've done absolutely nothing. It's been a stifling, swarming Raven defense. And now Mark Brunell is finding himself on the hot seat. Go figure. This has really been some turnaround.
Stover will kick off. Barlow is the deep man. Awaits the kick at the 5-yard line, 4-yard line.
A bad kick.
Taken by Stith at the 16. That is the second time that Stover's kick has been short and returned for good field position by Stith. A 30-yard kickoff return.
Boy, you make it a short field against Jacksonville. That's a really bad break for the Ravens. There, Tony Banks just threads the needle inside to Ian Badejo. You can see right there that Reggie Barlow calls for it, but any kickoff that's fielded at the 16-yard line is rotten.
Play action by Brunell. Under pressure, gets a great block on Sharper, and then throws it into the stands.
Now Stacy Mack. I think Mack kind of felt compelled to come back and make that good block, because I think he missed his block initially. Stacy Mack steps to that side, whiffs on his guy, was Darren Sharper, and then he comes back and gets him on the second chance because Brunell had to run out of the pocket. At least that kind of makes up for the mistake.
Second and 10.
Fumble!
And a flag, of course. Illegal procedure call. That's going to be a dead ball foul.
That was confusion between Brunell and Quentin Newyer as center.
False start, left side of the line. Still second down.
I think that's because the ball wasn't snapped. The whole offensive team moves.
Yep.
Just that Quentin Newyer forgot to snap the ball.
Handoff, Stacy Mack. Nothing.
Well, the adrenaline meter is off the charts right now for the Ravens defense. They are really all over it. That time the Ravens stunted inside, and what was happening, the Jaguars trying to run out of the shotgun formation. That play was dead right at the line.
3rd and 15. Blitz. Brunell lets it fly, incomplete.
Mark Brunell is a great quarterback, but when you get him running backwards, you got him where you want him.
That is the end of 3 in Baltimore, 26-22. We'll return to PSI Net Stadium right after this word from your local station. We begin the start of the fourth quarter from Baltimore with the Ravens down by 4, but they trailed by 17 in the first quarter today. And it was a dominating Raven effort in the third quarter. Now to begin the fourth, Jacksonville must punt. Brian Barker
Gone.
lets it go. Jermaine Lewis will let it go out of bounds.
And that out of bounds kick, Vern, that's intentional. They don't want Lewis touching the ball.
Oh boy, it'll be spotted at the 36. .53 to go in regulation, 26-22. Baltimore has never defeated Jacksonville. They've gone 0-8. Yards per play in the second half. The Jaguars 2.1. A year ago in game 2 between these two teams, Jacksonville outscored Baltimore 23-7 in the fourth quarter to win it by 7. It was 23-7 at the half today. There's the pass across the middle to the 39-yard line. The catch made by Priest Holmes, and he is stopped immediately by Kevin Hardy. See, in '99, the difference in the two games, a total of 10 points. Jacksonville did dominate in '98, but most of these games have been decided in close quarters.
Well, that's because of the strength of the defense of the Baltimore Ravens. When your team has that dominant a defense, you're in most every game you play.
Hand off to Holmes, and he is contacted at the 43-yard line. Stop is made by Hardy Nickerson, number 56. Priest Holmes, a one-time free agent out of Texas, 1,000 yards plus 2 years ago. Quiet young man, 9 carries for 54 yards today.
Got a nice average, though, at 6 yards a carry. Priest Holmes is going to be a free agent at the end of this season.
3rd and 5.
Somebody will offer him some nice money.
Banks finds Lewis for the first down across the 50.
And that's what I was talking about, Vern. Somebody's got to step up and start helping out Tony Banks. And there's a good example. Jermaine Lewis makes the catch, makes somebody miss, and picks up a first down. Too many drops, too many balls bouncing off people's hands. Aaron Beasley comes up, tries to make. He's too late coming up. Fernando Bryant has to clean it up, but not until a Baltimore first down.
First down and 10 at the 48 with 13 to go. Tony Banks has hit 6 in a row now. 5-man rush. Banks in trouble. Stays on his feet. Seth Payne with the initial contact, and then Brackens got the sack.
Seth Payne had Tony Banks, knocks him backwards, and Banks doesn't go down. Banks just didn't cooperate. That's not very nice. Watch this, Seth Payne right there. I think Payne thought, I hit a guy that hard, he's got to fall down. What's going on here? Tony Banks is 6'4", 230. It's not that easy. Tony Banks spent some years in St. Louis playing for the Rams, where he got killed in the pocket every week. He has acquired a lot of toughness.
Here's Banks on 2nd and 17. And again, he is driven down. This time, it's Joel Smingy with his first sack of the season.
When you're outside the pocket like that, Tony has the ability to just throw the ball away and not be penalized for it. There's no intentional grounding when you're out there if you just get it back to the line of scrimmage. That's pretty tough to take a sack like that. He'd have been better off just getting rid of it. Bootleg all the way. He stumbles a little bit initially coming out. Now on a bootleg, you know, you're really working to one receiver. He looks for a second, sees nothing. At that point in time, Tony, just throw it to the sidelines. Just get rid of it. It's a busted play.
Back-to-back sacks, 3rd and 22, and that results in a timeout being called by Tony Banks. Part of the beautiful inner harbor of Baltimore, and we're not that far away. And here's Jermaine Lewis getting a little medical attention.
Well, it appears to me they're about to get an IV down on the field. It's so hot, so humid, so easy to become dehydrated. It's a real blessing for the players to be able to take on some additional liquids intravenously during the course of a game. It's a big plus.
3rd and 22, Banks. They go for the tackle and they went for the football, and Tony Banks did hang on, but he's down at the 41. Coverage pretty good.
Well, Tony Banks couldn't find anybody to throw to all 3 plays in that possession. Right here he's looking downfield. Billy Davis we're watching right there. But that's so far away from the play. That's a little deceiving. There's no way that Tony Banks is going to see Davis on the far side of the field when he's running to his left, evading the rush.
Kyle Richardson sails it deep. Barlow drifting back, grabs it at the 10. James Trapp with a fine downfield play. Won't get credit for the tackle, but he forced him into coverage. Time call. Starting this Friday, CBS is taking you back to the island for 13 nights. Now here's your chance to see how it all began, Dan. Don't miss it, Dan. Survivor. Back to the island starting Friday on CBS. 1st and 10.
All right, Rudy.
Out of the shotgun, Brunell finds Chris Howard out to the 11, perhaps the 12-yard line. Tackle made by Washington. We go to Bonnie Bernstein.
All right, Vern, I'm sure you've probably brought this stat up, but 6 of the 8 contests between these 2 teams have been decided by 7 points or less. This is what Tom Coughlin thrives on, tight games on the road. He says from day one, we work on these guys mentally, talking about bringing them together and communicating because they're in a hostile environment. They practice when they're going on the road 2 days a week in crowd noise, even though they were rained out one day and had to go inside on Wednesday.
All right, Bonnie, here's the handoff. Oh, what a pop. A football! Ball's loose at the 12.
It hasn't been decided who has it yet. That ball may have changed hands 2 or 3 times down there. It's not who had it first, who has it last.
There's an assistant coach in the middle of the pile. It's Baltimore ball.
Jamie Sharper is the guy holding the ball. Stacey Mack trying to make something happen. Bounce to the outside. Gets a big hit Let's watch it one more time right here. There's Mack bouncing to the outside. Oh, there is the hit right there by Sharper. He knocks the ball loose, and Jamie Sharper, I think, comes out of there with the ball.
It was.
Number 55, Jamie Sharper. Oh, he did get it first, and he kept it.
Timeout called. Jacksonville. That is their final timeout. Jamie Sharper with the contact that forced the fumble, then the recovery, and he held on for all he was worth.
And all I think about is Brian Billick saying, our offense may not come around till midseason, but our defense will keep us around. Wow, is he right?
Travis Taylor wide left, Jermaine Lewis wide right, Sharp in the slot, and Banks back to throw on first down. Oh my goodness, he had Priest Holmes and he threw it behind him.
A fabulous job of up-front blocking by the Ravens. And Tony Banks almost threw that football like he was expecting Holmes to break back to the inside, but I don't know why Holmes would ever want to do that. That was just a miscommunication on Banks and a misfire.
This time Taylor's wide right and Lewis is wide left. He works on Aaron Beasley. Well, we had simultaneous whistles.
I think Johnny Greer's buzzer went off. I mean, nobody would want a replay of that last play.
Maybe it was his cell phone.
Tom Coughlin's going, I didn't do anything. Something activated Johnny Greer's buzzer.
Play. Reset the 25-second clock.
If a coach wants to challenge from the sideline, but Greer's buzzer, and a good point here is that Jacksonville, of course, can't challenge anything, but there was nothing there to challenge by anybody. But Johnny Greer clearly looked down as if his buzzer was activated somewhere.
Now Taylor goes left. Ian Badejo, who has 6 catches, 1 for a touchdown, is the fullback. That is Shannon Sharp in motion. Play fake. Banks into the end zone. Lewis. Touchdown, Baltimore.
Well, Jermaine Lewis made the most of getting that IV on the sideline. What a turnaround. What a display of composure by the Baltimore Ravens here in the second half of this ball game after playing what you can only describe as a pretty pitiful first half. This is splendid.
Extra point by Stover is up and through. Tony Banks has thrown 4 touchdown passes this afternoon.
Jermaine Lewis, Fernando Bryant. Bryant acting like he's got deep help to the outside. Donovan Darius gets there way late, but Fernando Bryant doesn't contest Jermaine Lewis going by him at all. If Donovan Darius had the deep outside in that back quarter of the end zone, then he is way late getting there. Can this be true? Can we finally be leading the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Brian Billick in his second season as the head coach, 46 years of age.
You know, Vern, one little thing to remember right here, if that would have been a successful two-point conversion down there to Shannon Sharp, it got called back because of offensive interference. Right now, Baltimore would be up by 4 points.
Right.
Not 3.
Jacksonville's going to get it back with 10 minutes to go in the ball game. Stover's pumped. By far his best kickoff today. Oh, show me some muscle, man.
You know, either kickoff is to the 15 or the 16-yard line, or it's 5 yards deep in the end zone. That was Chris Howard in the first half. He fumbled. Baltimore scored on the very next play. And there it is right there. Travis Taylor breaking a couple tackles and getting it into the end zone. And then it's Travis Mack who's going to fumble. Stacey Mack, rather. And then it's followed up by a Baltimore touchdown to Jermaine Lewis.
Brunell goes from the shotgun on first down and 10. Across the middle. Out to the 30-yard line. The catch made by McCardell and Jamie Sharper with the tackle. In the second half for Baltimore. A touchdown, a punt, a touchdown, an interception, and a touchdown. Stacey Mack, Damon Shelton in the backfield behind Brunell. First and 10 on the last pass play. No timeouts left for Jacksonville. Blitz coming from the corner. Stacey Mack plows up across the 40 and down to the 42. Rod Woodson, that's a gain of 13. And Rod Woodson shaken up for the second time in the ball game.
He is right on the sideline. Right there, it looked like Woodson was at the bottom. Let's take a look again. Stacey Mack carrying the football, and Rod Woodson bears the brunt, the entire brunt of Stacey Mack falling right on top of him. And that, I don't want to speculate, but that'll separate you from all the air that was in your lungs.
Mm-hmm. And the ribs could be a little sore as well, huh? Now Rod Woodson up, heads to the bench. Next Sunday, CBS Sports presents Showtime Championship Boxing. Evander Holyfield goes for his 4th heavyweight title in a controversial battle with challenger John Ruiz for the WBA championship. Next Sunday, 4:30. 8:54 to go in this one. First and 10, Jacksonville from their own 43. Play fake for Brunell. Across the middle, tip, up for grabs, intercepted. Kim Herring gets his first interception as a professional.
And runs it all the way back to the 35-yard line. Tom Coughlin Cleveland looking on incredulously that his team has collapsed like this in the second half. This is Jimmy Smith, who had one of the great first halves. But before he can get there, Corey Harris comes up with his left hand, shoots the ball up into the air. Superb play by Harris. And there's Herring. All he has to do is fair catch it and take off. Boy, what a nice play right there by Corey Harris. And that is not interference.
First down and 10 at the 35. Hand off to Priest Holmes. He was caught behind the line. Gary Walker had good penetration on the play, and Kim Herring in his third year, first interception ever.
He was a second-round draft choice in '97. He's the lowest draft choice in that secondary. McAllister, Starks, and Woodson all were number ones.
Jermaine Lewis heads left, second down from the 35. Under 8 to go. Banks deep into double coverage. Oh boy.
Dumb.
Renee Stewart has 2 picks, almost got his third.
Tony. You're protecting the lead. No need to throw right into the teeth of double coverage. Of course, for Jacksonville, they're thinking this is a perfectly good and sound decision.
Third and 10.
Stewart couldn't hold on to the football. I think it's a moot point. He was running out of field. No way he was going to come down with that in the field of play.
On third down today, 2 of 9 for Tony Banks.
This is where you just don't want to be foolish with the football. You're in front.
3-man rush. Banks has Priest Holmes down to the 26-yard line. If they bring Matt Stover on, this is going to make it.
Boy, great hustle there by Tony Brackens. There's Tony Brackens, number 90, going against Jonathan Ogden, one of the great tackles in football. But he sees he's blocked. Is he out of the play? No, because he's going to chase down Priest Holmes, catch him from behind, and get him a yard short of the first down. Good hustle by Tony Brackens.
Matt Stover has hit his only attempt today. He's hit 22 in a row. Second longest current streak in the league.
Gone.
Make it 23 in a row. From 44 yards out, and it's a 6-point game. Now we invite you to be with us next Sunday as our coverage of the NFL on CBS continues. Buffalo at the Jets, Cincinnati, Jacksonville, and Pittsburgh, Cleveland, the early games. Denver will be on the West Coast against the Oakland Raiders. That's our lineup for next Sunday, the NFL on CBS. And it all begins with this group of young men. Well, most of them are young. I see guys on either side who are not.
But they are good-looking guys.
Yeah.
Vern, when's the last time you saw a team head into halftime, whoop as bad as the Baltimore Ravens were today, and see them come out and play a second half that they played up to this point? A lot of football left at 7 minutes. I don't know what Brian Billick did at halftime or what these guys said to each other, but they have rebounded.
Jay Soward and Reggie Barlow are the deep men. Here's Stover.
Oh, look
He's
at this
still
kid.
pumped. 32 years of age, out of Dallas. He just signed a brand new 4-year contract. Matt Stover. Muscular Matt.
Hey. Last time I looked, it went right through the middle. Well, Rod Woodson, who came off the field banged up, still sitting this one out. Remember, Stacey Mack landed right on top of Rod, and boy, right now, when Baltimore needs a big defensive series to hold this lead, they could use Woodson. Corey Harris has taken his place.
First and 10, blitz. Brunell throws it away. Second down.
Well, he was trying to go to R.J. Soward out to the outside. Brunell is expecting the rookie to run a different pattern than the one he does. It's a blitz adjustment because you see the blitz coming right up the middle. Soward just doesn't see the blitz, continues to run his pattern towards the hash mark, and Brunell's ball just falls harmlessly way out of the way.
Chris Howard breaks off wide to the left side. Jimmy Smith is in the slot. Brady's in the slot right. Brunell pumps, looks for Jimmy Smith. That's short of the first down at the 29-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 1. Ray Lewis with the tackle, and he's into double digits.
No, but this is a time for Mark Brunell to dance with who brung you, and that's Jimmy Smith. In a situation like this for the last 8 years now, for the last 5 years rather, these guys have been together. Mark Brunell, Jimmy Smith is his go-to guy. This is crunch time.
3rd and 1. Deep left side, Jimmy Smith got it! Yes, at the 37-yard line.
And what kind of a call was that on 3rd and less than a yard? Gutsy. Tom Coughlin calls his own plays. Chris McAllister is going, this is 3rd and short, you can't do this. Perfectly dropped ball by Mark Brunell, dropping it right over the inside shoulder of Jimmy Smith.
248 yards for Jimmy Smith today. The last was for 34. Here's Brunell. Scrambles, comes left. Jamie Sharper chases him. He's out of bounds at the 35. 5:43 left here. Let's go back to New York. All right, Jim, thank you. Jimmy Smith, 13 receptions, 248 yards. It's 2nd down and 8. That one is caught at the 28-yard line. Keenan McCardell makes the catch.
And McCardell was covered really tightly by Jamie Sharper. Boy, how much confidence does Brunell have firing that ball in there like that? Tony Baselli making his comeback from ACL surgery. There he is again against McCrary. McCrary beats him to the inside, but Baselli slides to the outside and picks up the blitzer coming off the corner. That was Peter Boulware.
Smith, right side against Starks. On 1st and 10, they hand it off. Jamie Sharper with the tackle, and Peter Boulware also there.
Chris Howard's going, thanks for that. I would say that Baltimore, sometimes a defensive team just, it's like they were in the huddle when you called the play. And that was the situation there. Chris Howard had nowhere to go. Coming towards us to the near sideline is Smith.
2nd and 12. Brunell. Incomplete. At the 16-yard line, intended for R.J. Soward. And it'll be 3rd down.
That was the 2nd time this drive that Brunell has attempted to go to R.J. Soward, and they have somehow not been on the same page as far as the route that Soward was running. Keep in mind, he's a rookie. Their #1 draft choice, but a rookie.
Smith, far side. They lay off of him this time. 3rd and 12. 4-person rush. Brunell pumps, goes short for Chris Howard, drops it. 4th and 12.
keeps Howard in to block. When Howard has nobody to pick up on a blitz, he floats out. Brunell throws it right to him, an easy catch for Howard. I don't know, a lack of concentration or whatever, but he drops it. Chances are slim he would have been able to pick up a first down. He would have had to break 3 or 4 tackles.
They're going to bring Mike Hollis on 4th and 12. 48-yarder. Nailed it.
That was a big-time kick by Hollis. And somehow this game, so lopsided in the first half, has become just as thrilling a second half as you could ever want to be a part of. Hollis hits that square. Tom Coughlin knew that if he didn't get that field goal, he'd be looking at having to score a touchdown on their next possession. And Brian Billick, oh, how he wants to beat Jacksonville.
Mike Hollis 5 for 5 today.
How everybody in Maryland wants to beat Jacksonville.
Yes. Well, they are the big enchilada in the Central Division.
Well, they've earned it.
Of course, folks in Tennessee would say, whoa.
You know, they're the big enchilada as far as being division champions. I think Tennessee will tell you, if you guys can win the division, I'll win the conference.
Recall that Jacksonville used its last timeout at the 10-minute mark. So they have played 6:07 without a timeout. Here's Corey Harris out to the 25-yard line. Invite you to be with us Saturday on the Home Depot College Football. The Florida Gators will tangle with Tennessee in an SEC bash. Or Joe Paterno's Nittany Lions battle the Pittsburgh Panthers. It all begins with college football today, next Saturday at 3 o'clock. 3:45 to go in this one. And a 3-point Baltimore lead. Jacksonville cannot stop the clock.
And that is a big negative.
Jamal Lewis. Well, they certainly need one first down to maintain possession. Gary Walker gets the tackle there. Priest Holmes and Jermaine Lewis come on. Clock will stop, of course, at the 2-minute warning. 2nd down and 10.
They're still going to have Tony Banks make a play. Unless their offensive line is so dominant that they're going to be able to run themselves to a first down. Tony Banks is still going to have to come up, and somebody's got to make a play.
Ian Badejo is back in the lineup, so also is Priest Holmes. Play fake. Banks, deep left side. He's got Jermaine Lewis, who cannot get there.
Aaron Beasley was running with Jermaine Lewis, and his coverage was such that it had to be a perfect ball that drops in right onto Lewis's hands. Let's take a look at it. Lewis has a step on Beasley, and that pass just inches too far.
3rd and 10. Shotgun. Blitz. Banks incomplete. Tony Brackens was there to disrupt the play.
The worst part of that, Vern, is not that they don't pick up the first down, which is not good, but it was another incomplete pass. So you had 2 incompleted passes in a row that stopped the clock, that really basically gave the Jaguars 2 timeouts back.
Baltimore had the ball for 1 minute. Richardson
against a team with no timeouts.
Right. Barlow at the 30. And so the Jaguars get it back, trailing by 3, no timeouts remaining. A 10-yard Barlow return of a 45-yard punt.
And because Baltimore didn't pick up a first down, Jacksonville gets really good field position, clear up at the 39.
Now let's check in with Bonnie Bernstein.
Well, Vern, if you remember a few minutes ago, Rod Woodson got plowed over by Stacey Mack. At first, it just looked like he had the wind knocked out of him. But his neck's been hurting, and I've seen him had ice on his neck. Now the prognosis is a mild concussion. He's questionable to return, Vern.
All right, Bonnie, thank you. Corey Harris is on in his place. 1st and 10 from the 40.
Oh, they'd like to have Rod Woodson in this situation. He's the captain of that secondary, makes the calls.
Blitz for the Ravens. Brunell, right side, McCardell. Out of bounds to stop the clock at the 45-yard line.
No, they're going to keep the clock winding, Vern. They're going to say he was stopped and held up in the field of play.
Well, Coughlin disagrees with that interpretation. And the clock now under 2:30. 1st down and 10 from the 44-yard line. Jimmy Smith at the 41. In front of Robert Bailey. We have reached the 2-minute warning. Could overtime be in our future? Mike Hollis is the most accurate field goal kicker in the NFL in the history of the NFL. 5 for 5 today.
And it's interesting play calling now for Tom Coughlin, because if he's going to go for that field goal to send this game into overtime, he doesn't have a timeout to stop the clock. So that's got to figure into every play he calls.
Here's Brunell. Tries to get out of bounds and does. Stops the clock. Reminder of our itinerary, or agenda rather, for tonight. We begin with 60 Minutes on CBS. That's followed by Touched by an Angel, and then the CBS Sunday movie Under Siege.
Well, right now, if Jacksonville doesn't advance any farther, you're looking at about a 57-yard field goal. That's not going to cut it.
3rd and 6. Blitz. Brunell under pressure. Puts it up. Adjustment tip. Caught. Jimmy Smith breaks free. Touchdown.
Can you believe that? Can you believe that? There are people in this stadium tens of thousands of people who are just going, I can't believe my eyes. A carom goes right to Jimmy Smith on a Hail Mary from Mark Brunell under intense pressure.
Stunned silence. Hollis for the extra point. My goodness.
Let's take a look at this miracle play for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And dejection doesn't even come close to describing the city of Baltimore right now. Marvin Lewis comes with the all-out blitz. Both corners come free right in on Brunell. He never sees this play. It hits the hands of Keenan McCardell and bounces through the air right to Jimmy Smith. McCardell's in the slot. There he is working right there. You see him against Herring. Herring's got great coverage. And there's the missed tackle by McAllister that just finished it off. Oh.
Brunell has to wait a lifetime.
He's going, are you kidding me? Is that really a touchdown? And Chris McAllister, who had Jimmy Smith wrapped up at the 10-yard line and let him get away, I'm sure would like to let this game get away from his memory bank. Tough day.
Lindsay will kick it off. That's a free ball picked up by Priest Holmes. And Baltimore gets it back, down by 4.
Yeah, the key there, it takes a touchdown. Boy, oh boy, Vern. Well, I think Jimmy Smith is pretty. I haven't seen all the games today. I'm only working this one, but I'd have to think that maybe Offensive Player of the Week is pretty much going to sit in Jimmy Smith's locker this week.
Second and 6 at the 40.
Look at this throw by Mark Brunell. He just throws it up for grabs. McCardell again covered by Herring, but McAllister, he had a chance to bring Smith down.
That pass incomplete. And a reminder that the men's final coming up next on CBS. Pete Sampras goes for the championship.
You know, Vern, what a different story it is if McAllister brings down Jimmy Smith there at the 10-yard line. Jaguars, no timeouts. They've got to get down there. They've got to try to get in the end zone. If not, it's a chance for overtime.
Here's Banks going deep to the 43-yard line. Timeout is called. I think they used a timeout. No, they have not. They've got 2 remaining.
They threw a strike to Billy Davis.
Kraft will kill the clock. 1:19 to go.
Well, there is still plenty of time. Baltimore has some playmakers. We know Travis Taylor is a guy that can make something happen after the catch. Jermaine Lewis is another big play receiver. Boy, do they really miss Kadri Ismail right now. The Ravens do.
Tony Brackens is down. Second and 10.
Ismail, he went out early in this game. He'd be a nice addition now.
Banks. Billy Davis circles out of a tackle. Down at the 40-yard line. 15-yard gain.
And Tony Banks takes another timeout, Vern. They'll have 1 left after this.
Extraordinary, huh?
This is much more of a game than we thought it was going to be at halftime. Regardless of how the Baltimore Ravens end up here, if they should go on and lose this game, at least I think they've learned a lesson that the only problem with us today was us.
Right.
All the mistakes that they made in the first half, that's what they ought to tell themselves. Right now they're telling themselves, if we get it in the end zone, we're going to win.
At the 41, 1st and 10.
Well, there's still time to work the middle of the field. You don't need to just run fly patterns to the end zone.
Three-person rush across the middle, caught. Ryan Badejo inside the 30. That's a first down.
Yep.
29.
Smart play using the middle. Now get up there, kill the clock. Of course, a little trickery here wouldn't be bad either.
Dan Marino comes to mind.
That's right. Everybody expects you to spike it. There's nothing wrong with going back and letting one go. I think Brian Billick, Matt Cavanaugh calls a lot of the plays here for the Ravens. Brian Billick lets his offensive coordinator do that, but I think Brian may have taken over the play calling right here.
And remember, he said he does do that in the last 2 minutes, so it's Billick now. And he has sent in the play to Tony Banks. 4-point game. Banks, he's got a man. Shannon Sharp, touchdown! Touchdown! Shannon Sharp. Matt Stover for the extra point.
I have been around the National Football League for 30 years, and this is one of the most exciting second halves of football I have ever been a part of. Unbelievable. Out of the shotgun formation, Tony Banks. Right down the middle of the field, running the post, Shannon Sharp, and he takes Donovan Darius right into the end zone with him. What a beautiful throw by Tony Banks. Great protection up front. And Shannon Sharp, I love to separate. I love to be out in the open spaces. I will find the hole. He's not kidding. Shannon Sharp told us yesterday, I didn't think I would have this much fun leaving the Denver Broncos, where I've been my whole life, and joining a new team. This is some game, isn't it?
Wow.
And I'm talking about the game of football.
Yeah.
This is some game.
Stover. Barlow. Down at the 27. Tony Banks has thrown for 5 touchdowns today.
Well, I'm telling you something right now. If Jimmy Smith isn't triple teamed, there's a problem here. The Jaguars have no timeouts. No timeouts, and that is so critical, because you need enough time, if you haven't stopped the clock, to get your field goal team onto the field.
From the 28. Deep for Soward. Incomplete.
There was contact, but both guys were playing the football. Chris McAllister still finds himself at the epicenter of the action. Both guys playing the football. Good, no flag.
2nd and 10. Smith goes right. Soward comes left. Cardell is in the slot. 3-man rush. Brunell caught and dropped. They can't stop the clock. Peter Boulware.
Not over yet, guys.
3rd and 14.
Mark Brunell has to go to the sideline. Anything in the middle of the field, the game's over.
Incomplete. 4th down. Soward caught it out of bounds.
Well, Baltimore is 4 seconds away from getting the 900-pound gorilla off their back. Again, remember, if you just joined us late, the Ravens have never beaten the Jaguars. 0-8 here in Baltimore. Baltimore 0-2 in Cleveland.
4th down. Brunell. Intercepted by Corey Harris. It's in the books. Tony Banks throws for 5, none more significant than the last pass to Shannon Sharpe. .32 points for the Ravens in the 2nd half. Banks for 5, Shannon Sharpe in his 2nd game for his new team gets the winner. For Bonnie Bernstein and Dan Deerdorf, I'm Vern Lundquist saying so long from Baltimore, Maryland. Ravens win by 3.